Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Unacademy's YouTube channel and welcome to today's session of mine where we are continuing our analysis of Code 55 Jan 2022, the paper which was postponed for few of the people because of the location issue. Natural calamities issue. That's why the exam was postponed and we are going to continue our analysis for that particular exam. So good evening. If I am audible and visible to each one of you, do mark in the comment section so that I know that yes, you are there in the session. So meanwhile others are joining, my name is Lakshmi Kushwaha. I am verified educator on Unacademy where I teach subject code 55, that is your industrial relations and labor welfare, and I'm holding 4.5 years of professional experience and 3 years of teaching. You can follow me for all the courses related to Code 55, Human Resource Management, any of the exam. If you're preparing for Subject Code 55, Human Resource, OB, Labor Legislation, PSU exam, PhD entrance, any of the exam which is having labor legislation as your topic, you can follow me. And for the plus courses where I teach complete course of Code 55, you can use my code Lakshmi K Live to get your 10% subscription, 10% discount on your subscription. This code is valid even for the iconic. Satinder, good evening and welcome to the class. This is the course, or this is the complete batch course which has been started from 9th of Feb. So we are doing unit 1 and unit 2. Unit 1 we have still only completed PPM and we have started functions of management, and unit number 2 we have completed few topics like human resource planning, recruitment, selection, all these topics, demand forecast, only these topics have been completed till now. So still you are not too late. If you are planning to subscribe to this plus class and my classes, you want to learn the legislation and HRM in the simplest way, so I would suggest you just go for this course where you are even getting paper 1 and paper 2 both together. What you have to do, just you have to log in on the plus platform Lakshmi K Live, use the code for 10% discount. And if you are going to do the subscription today, and if you go for 1 year subscription, 6 months is something which you are going to get free. So what are you thinking for? Just use the code Lakshmi K Live to get 10% off on your subscription and get 6 months extension. Yes, Sonam, good evening. Syllabus of code by when by when I will be completing the syllabus for code 55. It would get completed in June, in the June month, Shivraj. Till June month it would get completed. Fine. So good evening and welcome to the class. So we have started the code 55 analysis. We did the 3 classes. Actually this is the 4th one. There is a little bit error in the heading. So in last 3 sessions we have done number of the questions, or so I would be just moving to the last question which we stopped in our last class, so that we can move ahead, we can do more questions than that. Okay, next question to it. Let me just move to this. Okay. So quickly let people join. Acha, I'm not able to see how many of you are there. Please do mark in the comment section so that I would know. Yes, you are there. Okay, so this was the question which was asked in the sequence, arranging the question year-wise when this particular, you can say the committees or the commissions were set up. We did this in yesterday's class. We did this in day before yesterday class. I explained this also. We did this also. We did this also. Article also. We did this assertion and reason. We did this. We did this. Okay. This also. This also. And yes, the question. Next question coming to you is this. You have to match. No, this was also done. This was also done. And this was also done. This is the question. Fine. So the primary purpose of which of the following is to protect minimum standards and improve the working conditions. So this question is asking for from different, there are different types of labor legislation. So our labor legislation based on their principles can be divided into the four categories. These four categories are protective labor legislation, regulative labor legislation, security, social security labor legislation, and wage labor legislation. You have to answer among these four labor legislations, different type of labor legislation, which of the following is to protect minimum labor standards and improve the working conditions. Chalo, quickly, I'm waiting for the answers and then I would explain you in detail. Let me see who can answer this question correctly, and then I would be very important. And trust me, this question or this particular topic, every time there is a question from this particular topic. So yes. Hmm. No one is answering. Which type of the labor legislation has got protect minimum labor standards? Okay, no answers from your side. So I would just explain this. So labor legislation in India can be divided into four types: protective labor legislation, regulative labor legislation, social security, and wage legislation. Now, what is the protective? So rather wage welfare labor legislation is also a fourth part. Okay, wage legislations are sometimes counted as the part of the protective. So, welfare legislation. Now, let's understand the meaning of them. What do you mean by protective labor legislation? All those legislations like your Factories Act, all those legislation like your mines, plantation, building and construction, interstate migrant, contract worker, child labor, all these are called as protective labor legislation. Why they are called as protective labor legislation? Because all of them has got minimum labor standard. Like under Factories Act, it is said that the maximum number of the hours the employee can work in an factory is 9 hours per day, and the spread over can be maximum 10 hours, which can be extended 10.5 hours, which can be extended to 12 hours only after the permission of chief inspector. Similarly, under the Contract Labor Act, Child Labor Act, Mines Act, and your plantation and other such law, there are certain minimum labor standards which are provided in order to provide better working conditions to the employees. So, the protective, if I have to count, what are the protective legislation? Factories Act, Mines Act, Building and Construction, Plantation Act, your interstate migrant, contract labor, child labor, all these are protective. Now moving to the regulative labor legislation. This type of legislations tries to build up the good relationship, regulate the relationship between the employee and the employer. Here in this category, we have only three legislation: Trade Union Act, then your Industrial Dispute Act 1947, and Industrial Employment Standing Order Act. Trade Union Act has got the provisions which helps to maintain the good relationship between the employee and employer, right? So that even the association of the trade unions and even the association of the or the group of the employer would have their demand fulfilled. Industrial Employment Standing Order has got the measures for provisions and the protection and the prevention and settlement of the dispute. Why these provisions are given? So that there is good relationship. So, and under and Industrial Employment Standing Order Act, there are the standing order, rules, order which are followed by every employer so that there is no problem created for the employees. So, this is also a regulative. Then comes your social security legislation. What do you mean by social security? Those benefits which are given to the employees when they are not in the situation to work, like when they are retired, if they have met with an accident, or they are not capable enough to work, those period of the time they are given the benefits, like your maternity benefit, Employee Compensation Act, PF Act, Gratuity Act, Employee State Insurance Act. All this provides certain kind of the social security to the employee. Hence, they are called as social security. Wage legislations, your Payment of Wages Act, your Minimum Wages Act, your Bonus Act, Equal Remuneration Act, all they talk about the wages. All of them deal with the wages. So hence they are called as wage legislation. Now another one is your welfare legislation. All those legislation which deals with the welfare, providing the welfare to the employees. Now Factories Act is also called as the welfare legislation. Why? Because it has got the measure for welfare, like your safety, health and welfare. Other than this, those legislations or those act which is having the word welfare or welfare fund in there, like your building and construction welfare says act, so that is your welfare which talks about welfare of the employees, that would be called as welfare legislation. Now how come the Factories Act is your protective as well as the welfare legislation? And what if in exam you have the question that Factories Act belongs to which of the category of legislation, and there you have an options as protective, welfare, regulative and your social security. When you have this broader example, this options, then you have to mark only protective because it is protective in nature. But in case you are having the options in combination, protective and welfare, next is your protective and social security, next one is your welfare and your social security, and third one is your social security and regulative. In this case, the protective and welfare both are true. Why? Because Factories Act has got the provisions for the welfare. So you have to very smartly answer the question, read the question properly in coming exam. Your Welfare Act, Factories Act is protective as well as welfare. Mines is protective as well welfare. Plantation is protective as well as welfare in case they are asked. Now, another question which are or which has been asked in the exam, that Employee Compensation Act, which of the following? So now there is a question, there is Employee Compensation Act, then another one is your Interstate Migrant Workmen Act, then is your Minimum Wages Act and Payment of Wages Act, right? These are four options and the question is, which of the following has been the first welfare legislation that came into the existence? So it was the Employee Compensation Act came into the existence in 1926. Earlier it was called as Workmen Compensation Act, which by the amendment the word workmen was removed and it was replaced by the employee. So you have to remember that employee compensation, as in when it came into the existence, was a welfare legislation. Is that clear to everyone? If you have understood whatever I have explained you, mark in the comment section. If you haven't understood, I would explain it again. Hello, quickly. So the answer for this is option number 1. We had long discussion. I hope you have understood. Now, next question. Match the following regarding the satisfaction or satisfaction of the workforce. Low performance, low potential, low performance, high potential, high performance, low potential, high performance, high potential. Now this question is asked from this, this. 9 box. If you know Wigboard's 9 box of high performance and the potential. So who are the people, those who are called as low performance, low potential, low performance, high potential, high performance, low potential, high performance, high potential? Chalo, mark, try to match. McKinsey, yes, very good. McKinsey's 9 box of succession planning, rather you can say this is also related to the succession planning or the performance and the potential. So here we have the potential, here we have the performance. So there are 9 combinations. Okay, 6 grid where can be the 9, not combination actually, 9 boxes. This is considered to be highest, who are highest performer, higher potential, and these are lower performer, lowest potential, and they are supposed to be removed from the organization. Chalo, quickly. Who would be low performers and the low potential? Even if you know, you would be able to answer. Any option? Okay. The answer for this is option number 1. Okay. Low performance, low potential are dead wood. They are of no use. Agar aapne, if you have been using your common sense, then also you would have been able to answer. They are dead wood. They are of no use. Neither having the potential, neither have the performance. Low performance, high potential. They are not performing. They are the problem. Why they are not able to perform? They are having the potential, but they are not able to perform. Lots of potential in them means there is some problem in them. That is your problem child. High performance, low potential. Work horses, those who keep on working harder and harder, they are having low potential, still they keep on performing high. High performance, high potential, they are called as stars. But it's called as risk. Yes, Priyanka, they are called as risk, but in another sense. They can have another words as well. They can have alternative names also, Priyanka. So sometime you need to understand. जरूरी नहीं है, ठीक है. अगर आपको ये भी पता होता, एक भी आपको पता है, एक तो करेक्ट दिया हुआ था, so you would have been marked this. Obviously, D is second, stars, high potential, high performer, right? The answer is option number 1. Next question. Which 3 types of employees are included in the definition of IHRM by P. Morgan? International Human Resource Management Model. Model given by P. Morgan consists of 3 types of the countries, or you can say nationalization, 3 types of the nationals, okay, means employees, and your 4 types of, or 3 types of actually approach towards the hiring. Chalo, quickly, what are the 3 types? Priyanka has answered option number 1, A, B and C. Host, parent, third. Is it? Are you sure, Priyanka? Host country, parent country, third country. Chalo, Soham has given 4. So the answer for this is option number 1. Why? Now Morgan has divided national. सबसे पहले let's understand, he has given 3 types of countries. What are the 3 types of the countries given by? कौन सा सब्जेक्ट है ये? सुमन नयन, ये लेबर लॉ है, लेबर वेलफेयर, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट, जिसमें इंटरनेशनल ह्यूमन रिसोर्स मैनेजमेंट भी पढ़ते हैं, ओबी भी पढ़ते हैं, एचआरडी भी पढ़ते हैं, ठीक है. Paper code 55. Yes, paper code 55. But if you are management student, then also this would be helpful for you. So P. Morgan has given 3 types of the country. One is the home country, also called as the parent country. Another one is your host country. And the third one is your third country. Right? Now, what do you mean by home country or parent country? A country which is having the headquarter. These are the countries divided on basis of subsidiaries. Multinational companies are usually divided into 3 different types: home country, host country, third country. Basis of the headquarter. So where the headquarter is located for the multinational company, they are called as home country. Jahan headquarter hoga, that is home country. Where the subsidiary is located, that is called as the host country. And the third country is the country where neither headquarter, neither subsidiary is there, but the resources are taken from this country. Now that can be your financial resources like money, or the human resources. Those are called as third country. Now, who are called as the parent country nationals? The employees who belong to the home country, they are called as parent country nationals, PCN. Those employees who belong to the country where the subsidiary is located, they are called as host country nationals. And the employees who belong to the countries where neither headquarter, neither subsidiary is located, they are called as third country national. Is that clear to everyone? Now, along with that, he has given different approaches of hiring the employees, different approaches of recruitment. What are the different approaches of recruitment given by Morgan? First is your ethnocentric, another one is your polycentric, then is your geocentric and regeocentric. Ethnocentric means when you are hiring the employees from the parent country national, होम कंट्री से ले रहे हो आपके एम्प्लॉयज की हायरिंग टू फिल द ओपनिंग एनी मैनेजरल की पोजीशन यू आर यूजिंग फ्रॉम द होम कंट्री, यहां से आप ले रहे हो, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज एथनोसेंट्रिक. Polycentric approach, when you are hiring the employees from the host country where the subsidiary is located, that is called as polycentric. Geocentric, neither host country, neither home country, you are taking the employees from the third country or the country where you get the best resources. Regeocentric, regeocentric is an approach where you take the employees from specific geographical location. Like if you are hiring from Asia, Asian people, if you hire from European countries, European people, so that is specific region. When you are hiring neither from host country, neither, so here it is specific region, that is called as regeocentric. If you all have understood, do mark in the comment section so that we can move to another question. So P. Morgan, this is complete P. Morgan module of the human resource management. Okay. Next question. So this is again very important. N number of the times asked in the question. PYQ is already. So whatever you did, this is also your PYQ. It has been asked earlier in exam and this question was not asked earlier in exam. This is the new question. Fine, let's do this. This is Johari window. Johari window. This question is from Johari window. List 1. Person know himself or herself about other. Person know himself or herself about who doesn't but does not know about other. The person does not know about himself or herself and does not know about other. Person knows about the other but does not know about himself or herself. Now try to answer, match the following: hidden self, open self, undiscovered, blind self. This Johari window is about self-awareness. Awareness. Right? How much you are aware of about yourself. How do you know yourself and how people know you? Right? Yes. Try to answer this question. Sonam has answered 4th. Yes. So 2 answers I have got. That is your 4. Option number 4. Now there is an quadrant or called as the window. This is the Johari window. This is open, others and self. It is made between other and self. Blind. When we say blind self का मतलब होता है when I don't know about myself and others also don't. So person know about the other but does not know about himself or herself. ठीक है, given by James Harry. Right, hooray, Harry. So this is given by James Harry. So person knows about other but does not know about himself or herself. He is blind self. He is not knowing about himself. दो लोगों के बारे में पता है तो but blind self. Then open self. Another one is your open self. Open self is your, the person knows himself or herself about and about other. Open-minded. Everything he knows about himself. So here not knowing about oneself, here knowing about oneself. Then you have hidden. Hidden self. Hidden self is your people knows himself or herself but does not know about the other person. Hidden. He keeps himself hidden. अपने बारे में पता है but he is not opening and not knowing about the people. So hidden self. Okay, so that is your hidden self. Okay, then comes your undiscovered. Undiscovered, the person who does not know himself or herself and does not know other. कोई discovery नहीं है, undiscovered. किसी के बारे में पता नहीं है, ना ही मेरे बारे में, खुद के बारे में, ना ही दूसरों के बारे में, ठीक है. सो द आंसर हियर इज ऑप्शन नंबर 4. Very important. N number of the times in last 12 years has been asked, this question has been appeared in somehow, sometime match the following, sometime given by whom. Now, which of the following concept determines the activity status of a person with reference to the period of preceding 7 days? The usual status, the current daily status, the current weekly status, the chronic unemployment. So this question is asked from the methods of or the technique of measuring the unemployment. ठीक है, methods of measuring the unemployment. There are 3 methods. The usual status, which is also called as open or also called as chronic. Okay, another one is your current weekly status. Now try to answer this question. And next one is your current daily status. Chalo, quickly try to answer, then I would explain this. They love this particular topic and the word Johari. Yes, correct Priyanka. So which activity status, so here which activity status refers to the period of preceding 7 days? Yes, Priyanka has answered 2. Anyone else? Try to answer the option, question quickly. Chalo. The answer for this is option number 2. Now let me explain you what it is. Unemployment. What do you mean by unemployment? What does the unemployment means? Unemployment means when a person, when an employee in the labor force, an employee in the labor force is not able to find job or the employment in the current wage rates of the market. Whatever current wage rates are going on in the market, he is not able to find the employment, then that person is called as unemployed. Now, in India, how this unemployment is calculated or what are the different techniques of calculating the unemployment? There are 3 methods: the usual status, currently weekly and current daily status. What is the usual status? This is also called as open or the chronic. What do you mean by chronic unemployment or chronic status? Or what do you mean by open? So under the usual status, the number of the employees or number of the workers who has been unemployed for the duration of complete 1 year or 365 days. ठीक है, अ कंप्लीट 1 ईयर, 1 साल में जितने लोग अनएम्प्लॉयड थे उनको काउंट किया एंड दे आर कॉल्ड एज, दैट पर्टिकुलर स्टेटस इज कॉल्ड एज यूजुअल स्टेटस. 1 साल की काउंटिंग. So now why it is called as open? Because it is open, easily countable. You can count it easily. Why it is chronic? Chronic unemployment means such kind of unemployment which becomes the part of the economy of the country over the period of the time. Like in India, underemployment has become chronic. Why underemployment or disguised unemployment is the part of economy of the country? Let's understand what do you mean by underemployment in India. Underemployment, first of all, what do you mean by underemployment? Underemployment means if suppose I am an MBA or any other postgraduate and due to the situation, since market is not having the jobs for the MBA, I am forced to work at the BBA. So my skills are much, I am forced to have do work for the job which requires only graduation degree. ठीक है, जहां पे केवल और केवल ग्रेजुएशन डिग्री चाहिए, I am working there. So what happens here? The skills that I learned during my post graduation, the knowledge that I am having about my post graduation, that is unused. My skills are not used completely. Such person or such are called as underemployed. Like your part-time people, because of the problem they are working part-time. So if the people can work for 8 hours, and because they are having only part-time work, they are working for 4 hours, rest of the 4 hours is unutilized. Such thing is called as underemployment. In India, it is believed that chronic Indian's economy, underemployment is very common. Every other person in India could be seen underemployed. Then we have disguised unemployment. What do you mean by disguised? Where in particular, like in the agricultural land, there are more than 2 or 3 people working in single land where they are not required. So many people are not required. So agricultural sector in India faces the disguised. Means even if the 2 or 3 people are working there, they are more than enough to cultivate this land. But we can see 6 people, 7 people working in the same land because of unemployment, and such kind of unemployment where the contribution of extra people is zero. Because even if this 6, 4, 5, 6, this number of people are removed, that is not an issue. The work would be done. So this extra people are of no use. Their marginal productivity or their contribution is zero. This has been a part of Indian economy over the larger period of the time, and such kind of unemployment is called as chronic unemployment. So usual status is the status when you take complete 1 year to count the unemployment. Currently weekly status. This is a kind of an survey where last or the precedings, previous, whenever you are involved in the survey, whenever you are doing, the day you are doing this survey, preceding 7 days data is taken. It is believed if a person was able to get even 1 hour of a work in a day, he is employed. And if the person was not able to get 4 hours 4 hours of work, he is unemployed. आधे दिन भी का भी उसको काम नहीं मिला तो he is unemployed. Whereas in currently status, the day on which the survey is going on, including that, so the day, daily, so including that day, if the person was not able to find the work even for 1 hour, complete in that one day, if the person was not able to find the work for even 1 hour, that is person is called as unemployed. So these are the different status or different methods or technique of unemployment. We will be doing this in more detail in our sessions. That is answer number 2. Next, move to the question. Next question is the meaning of getting better results from the organization, team and individual by understanding an agreed framework of plan, goals, objectives and standard is termed as. What do you mean by this? Performance planning, performance management, performance appraisal, performance development. Better results from organization, team, individual by understanding an agreed framework of planned goals, objectives and standard. What is this called as? Yes, quickly. Am I moving too fast or you're not getting the things? किस किस को नहीं समझ में आ रहा है? Who are not able to understand what I am teaching, what I am speaking? Chalo, waiting for the answers. No answers. The answer for this is it's called as the performance management. When you are trying to get the better results by a proper planning, proper goals, proper objective, it is called as the performance management. What do you mean by performance development? A long life, a long term. Okay, Priyanka said option number 2. Okay, long term. When we talk about development, when you are talking about potential growth, even the current and the future, long term development, that is a performance development. Performance planning, planning according to the requirement, future requirements. Appraisal is what was the standard and what was your current actual performance. Comparing the standard and actual performance is appraisal, evaluation. Okay, so that the answer is option number 2. Next, leader member exchange, degree of structure and the leader position power are dimension of which of the following leadership theory? Chalo, very interesting question. And again, this is something which is very repetitively asked in exam. Anyone tell me which theories components are this? Which theory? Which leadership theory component are this? Quickly. Let me see who is answering. Okay. No answers. The answer for this is option number 2, contingency theory. Now, when we talk about the leadership, this is the part of organizational behavior. Under leadership, there are n number of the theories given by different authors. This particular theory, whichever is mentioned, is an Fedler's contingency theory. Fedler's contingency theory. Contingency theory, there are two theories, contingency theories and situational theory. People get confused between the situational and contingency theory. Contingency situational theory means the leader use the leadership or use the form of the leadership which is by matching the situation as per the situation, as the situation demand, the leadership is being used. Okay, it is blur. अच्छा, ठीक है, I am reading it out. ठीक है, सिचुएशन जैसे डिमांड करते हैं लीडर्स, वैसी लीडरशिप या मैनेजर वैसा लीडरशिप अपनाते हैं. कंटीजेंसी सेज दैट एज पर योर लीडरशिप, whatever leadership style you are using, it should be contingent to the situation. मतलब जो भी लीडरशिप स्टाइल है आप वो सिलेक्ट नहीं कर रहे हो, यू आर नॉट सिलेक्टिंग योर लीडरशिप स्टाइल, but whatever leadership style you are having, your leadership style should be contingent, should be matching to the situation. Here it says as per the situation you are using the leadership style, but in the Fedler contingency it says your leadership style has to be contingent. Clear? So now this is the contingence. For that, three elements given by Fedler contingencies: leader member relationship, degree of structure, leader position and power. These are the three dimensions of the Fedler contingency theory, which talks about how contingent, how leadership style depends upon the different situation. Then we have group exchange theory, which is also called as LMX, leader member exchange. This theory of leadership says that the success or the leaders favor those people, those who are belonging or are similar to him. There are two in group and out groups in this theory, group exchange theory. In group are the people those who are similar to that of the leader, and out group is the group of the people those who are different from the leader. Leader usually give the importance to the in group people since he found them similar to them and they have more success, whereas the people belonging to the out group have got lower success. Path goal leadership, this leadership style in manager here shows the path to the employees. First decide the goals, then shows them the path. If there is any kind of the obstacle in the path, they remove there. Under path goal theory, there are four types of the leadership: your directive, your supportive, your there are four types of the leader. I'm not able to recall right now, but there are four types of the leadership. Trait theory says that leadership comes to you because of certain trait. If you are having those characteristics, if you are having those trait, you would be a successful leadership, right? Trait theory says that this trait can be developed in you. ठीक है? Autocratic leadership, yes, supportive leadership, democratic leadership, and one more is there under the path goal leadership theory. So four leadership form of leadership are given under the path goal leadership. So very leadership is very important topic. Next, so the answer for this was contingency. Okay, I hope only Priyanka is answering the question. No one else is there in the class. Quickly let me know. Anyone else in the class? Chalo. Another question. Consider the statement in connection with the registration of establishment under the Interstate Migrant Workmen Regulation of Employment and Condition Act 1979. Not an issue, Priyanka. You could give the coming exam. That would be more easy. Chalo, the question is asking you, some of the statements are given here. The question is, since it is blur, I hope you are not able to see it. So I am reading the question slowly. Consider the statement in connection of registration of certain. Khushbu, good evening. Welcome to the class. Not an issue. You are late. Okay. So consider the statement in the connection with the registration of the certain establishment under the Interstate Migrant Workmen Regulation of Employment and Condition of Service Act 1979. So Interstate Migrant Workmen Act has got the registration of establishment, licensing of the contractor, and the registration of establishment. These sentences are given here and you have to read them, which is correct, which is wrong. You have to answer which sentences are correct. Every principal employer of the establishment of the act applies shall within the specified period make an application to the registering officer in a prescribed format of registration. The principal employer is required to pay the fees along with the application for registration. If the registering officer is satisfied that the application was prevented by sufficient cause, may entertain the application even after the expiry period. If the application is not complete in every respect, shall be summarily rejected. If the application is not so complete, the registering officer can return the same to the principal employer of the establishment. Yes. गुड इवनिंग. क्लास 7 पे नहीं है क्लास. अभी हमारा प्लस वाला क्लास हमारा 6 PM है, इसलिए मैंने इसको 5 PM रखा. ठीक है, चलो ट्राई टू आंसर. करेक्ट ऑप्शन क्या होंगे इसमें? प्रियंका, कुड यू ट्राई दिस? इंटरस्टेट माइग्रेंट वर्कमेंट लॉ. Interstate Migrant Workmen legislation is the legislation which came into the existence to provide the protection to the interstate migrant workmen. Now, who are called as the interstate migrant workmen? Suppose there is an employee, he is located in a state called A. This is state A and another state is B. Now, from A state to state B, the person is moving from A state to state B for the job. So this person who is moving from one state to another state, that person is called as interstate migrant workman. He is a migrant workman. He is migrating. So usually what used to happen, the person who is migrating from the different state, usually we are not given the equal opportunity or equal salaries or the wages or equal facilities. So in order to remove that, Interstate Migrant Workmen Act came into the existence with the provisions of providing equal facilities, equal salary even to the interstate migrant workmen, as similar to that of the workmen, regular workmen working in that particular state. Now, for any of the organization, any of the establishment who have to hire or who have to employ interstate migrant workmen, if there has been 5 or more, any establishment where there has been 5 or more interstate migrant workmen working in last 12 months, preceding 12 months, if there has been 5 or more interstate migrant workmen working, then the Interstate Migrant Workmen Act become applicable. And every establishment which is looking forward to hire the interstate migrant workmen have to register their establishment to the registering officer. And any contractor who is bringing this interstate migrant workmen to another state, that contractor is also supposed to get a license. The question is asking to you registration. Every establishment which is making a registration or which is supposed to make an registration is or have to make an application to the registration officer with all the details in a prescribed format in a prescribed time period. Okay, in the given time period. If they are not, then if they are not having the registration, then they are prohibited. The answer for this is option number 2. D is not complete. If the application is not complete in every respect, shall be summarily rejected. So even if one aspect is not complete, every in the sense it is saying एक नहीं हुआ तो चलेगा, दूसरा तीसरा मतलब एक आधा complete हुआ तो हम reject नहीं करेंगे. It is saying every. No, even if it is not completed, then also even if one condition is not fulfilled, then also it can be returned. Actually it is not rejected, इट इज रिटर्न, ठीक है, रिटर्न कर दिया जाता है कि आपके ये फॉर्म फुल भले नहीं भरे हुए नहीं है, आप इनको भर के भेजो, या आपकी पर्टिकुलर क्राइटेरिया फुलफिल नहीं हो रही है. सो ओनली ऑप्शन नंबर डी इज नॉट करेक्ट. ए बी सी ई ऑल आर करेक्ट आंसर्स. ठीक है. नाउ internal coordination, external coordination, vertical coordination, horizontal coordination, match. These are the different types of the coordination. Since it is blur, I am going to read it out. Internal coordination, external coordination, vertical coordination, horizontal coordination. Integration of the efforts between the superiors and subordinate working at the different level in organization. Coordination between the different department and the persons within the organization. Coordination within and between an organization and its external environment. Coordination between the department or the position or the person at the same level of organization. This is a new, you can say I have taught this in my class, but very few of the people know this type of the coordination. So I would answer this question. The answer for this is option number 2. Internal coordination means what? Within. When we talk about within the department, within the people, within the group, that is your internal coordination. When we talk about external coordination, the coordination of the activity of the organization with the external environment. So that is your external coordination. Vertical coordination is subordinate and superior, vertical hierarchy. So integration of the efforts between the superior and subordinate working at different level in organization. Horizontal, within the department at the same level. So that is the coordination between the department or the positions or the persons at the same level of organization. Even if you have not studied it, thoda sa logic lagate with the meanings, you would have been able to answer this question. The answer is option number 2. Clear? Let's move to the next question. Arrange the following process of job analysis. This is also a PYQ asked in the exam number of the times. Understanding the relevance of the job analysis, collecting the information, design the job, processing the information. You have to arrange. When you do the job analysis, what do you mean by job analysis? Job analysis is a process of collecting the information and data and collecting and gathering the information about the job, like job description, or you can say like the information like what is the job title, what is the working condition, who are the people would be doing the job. Now this job analysis is divided into the two parts, or it gives us the results as JD and JS. You have to answer while you are doing the job analysis what is the process that you need to follow. Yes, A, B, C, D. Who has answered this? Priyanka has answered 2. So we'll explain this. Answer for this is option number 3. First, you understand the relevance of job analysis, like why you're doing the job analysis, what is the purpose of the job analysis. Then you design the job, then you start collecting the information, and then you process the information. Design the job here means, see what is job analysis. First understand what do you mean by job analysis. Job analysis कब होता है? Is it for the existing job or is it for the new job? किसके लिए करते हैं? If I have to understand particular job, if it is existing, yes, analysis is done for the existing. Few people, those who are already doing that job, they have been, there is an worker who is involved in some work, doing it for many time. Now the job analysis is the process where the person would be studying this job. मतलब उस जॉब को समझेगा कि ये वर्कर क्या करता है, what is his qualification, what the work he is doing, in what condition he is doing for the existing and even for the new job. Why new job? So now suppose there are n number of the existing job. On basis of those existing job, if I have to create or bring out certain new job, I can use this information. So it is for both. But mostly if your question is being asked, is it for the existing? Yes. For job analysis, existing job is important. And hence first you design the job. You make the job that this is the work, this is work. Now, Job analysis, if you know F.W. Taylor, Lineal Gilbert, they are the people who are associated with job analysis. F.W. Taylor has given the importance like divide the work as per the specialization. Understand the work, do not follow the thumb rule. So believe in dividing, simplification. He has given the term called work simplification. So he has given the concept of job analysis. Who? F.W. Taylor and Lineal Gilbert. Lineal Gilbert has given time study, your fatigue study. She said that after over the period of the time, people get fatigued. So it is very important to simplify it. Okay? So that is option number 3. Next question. Explaining motivation a psychological process, which of the following suggests that performance leads to the satisfaction? Herzberg two-factor theory, Vroom's expectancy theory, Porter-Laurel model, Adam equity theory. So psychological process. So there are, for the motivation, we have two types of the motivational theory. First we have need based, or they are also called as content theory. Then we have your process theory. Try to differentiate your need based. Herzberg two-factor theory is need based. Vroom theory is your process theory. Adam equity theory is your process. Porter and Lower is your extension of Vroom's theory. So this belongs to what? Performance leads to the satisfaction. Now I have made it very easy to understand. Quickly. Anyone who knows the answer? Waiting for the reply. No one is answering. The answer for this is option number 3, Porter and Laurel model. Okay, Vroom's expectancy theory has got three elements: valence, performance, and your instrumentality. Vroom said that there is certain valence, means desire for the outcome. On basis of that desire or need for the outcome, you start putting certain effort. That is your valence. You are having certain desire for the outcome. When you start putting the efforts, you get the first level of outcome. That is your performance. When you are putting the effort, the belief, or this is also called as expectancy. When I am putting my efforts, I believe or I have an expectancy that my efforts will lead to the performance or better performance. It gives me certain performance. That is called as first level outcome. Another thing is, it is Vroom's theory says that after achieving your first level performance, it is believed that you would always get an outcome, instrumentality, that is your second level outcome. Valence, my desire for outcome. According to that, I start putting efforts. As in efforts I am putting, I am having an expectancy that yes, my performance will give me certain level of growth. My efforts will give me certain level of growth. That is my expectancy. And my this performance, whatever my performance I am doing it, will give me the instrumentality, means I will get my output. Okay. Now, to this, Porter and Laurel made an extension. They made that performance lead to the satisfaction. When you are able to perform here, you are satisfied. So performance lead to the satisfaction is the extension given by Porter and Laurel model. We will be studying in detail. It requires a detailed explanation in our motivation theory. In which industrial policy resolution the following statement is given: it is a socialist democracy, labor is a partner in common task of development and should participate in enthusiasm. So in India there has been different industrial policy resolution came into the existence. They are given here: 56, 51, 48, 47. You have to answer which of the policy focused on workers' participation. Chalo. I hope few would be only able to answer. So I am answering from you from your side. That is option number 4. The correct answer is this need to be studied in detail. We will be studying in our industrial relation. This is the part of industrial relation. So industrial policy resolution of 1956 focused on workers' participation and it called it as domestic socialist democracy. Democracy is allowing the employees to speak. Nikita, good evening. After long time I'm seeing you. How are you? Next question. Consider the following statement under the Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act 1970. Chalo, this is the Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act. Gazetted officer of government are to be appointed as the registering officer. License issued to the contractor is transferable. The license issued to contractor may be revoked if he found that license was obtained by misinterpretation or the suppression of any material fact. An aggrieved person may, within 30 days from the date on which the order is communicated to him, prefer an appeal to the appellant officer. In the Pearson publication, I can't find the interstate. It's not there. Priyanka, it's not there in Pearson publication में नहीं है. You have to check in the Labour Ministry site. ठीक है, उसमें नहीं दिया हुआ interstate migrant workmen. ठीक है, चलो answer this. Now, like your Interstate Migrant Workmen Act, we have contract labor. This law, this legislation came into the existence with the objective to provide the regulation or regulate the working of the contract labor. When the employees are hired on contract basis earlier, they were exploited to great extent. They were said that since you are on contract basis, we are not going to give you the facilities. But in order to remove that evil or in order to remove that exploitation, the Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act came into the existence. This law was applicable where 20 hai ya 10 hai? Who can answer me? Where it is applicable, 20 or 10? Where is the Contract Labor Act applicable, 20 or 10? The place or the establishment where has been 10 or 20? Waiting. 20. Yes. So, wherever in the establishment there has been 20 or more contract labor working, there the Contract Labor Act is applicable. What is 10? 10 is the eligibility or 10 is for building and construction. 5 is your interstate migrant workmen. Okay? So, 20, if there are 20 or more contract labor working in an establishment, the establishment has to be is covered under Contract Labor Act, and that establishment has to register itself as well as the contractor has to get the license. So here is the question. You have to answer which of the options are correct. So yes, CBI. Yes, correct. CBI, contract, building, interstate. C 20, 10, 5. This good. Now answer for this is option number C. Option number 3. B is not correct. No, it is not transferable. It cannot be transferred. It is non-transferable. It is with the only one and the license is for 12 months, valid for 12 months. It cannot be transferred. Next question. PYQ asks number of the times. Okay, very important topic. Arrange the main schemes of workers' participation in management according to the year of formation to the latest to the earliest. Joint Management Council, Shop Council, board level participation, institutes of employee participation in management for the public sector undertaking, and finally work committee. So which came first? You have to arrange it. As per the latest to the earliest, मतलब recent वाला क्या है? सबसे लास्ट में कौन सा आया वो? चलो सबसे लास्ट में क्या आया? एक भी आपको पता था तो you would have been able to answer. The answer for this is option number 1. सबसे पहले सबसे लेटेस्ट वाला अभी जो लेटेस्ट में आया है वो है इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ द एम्प्लॉयज पार्टिसिपेशन इन पब्लिक in a management of the public sector undertaking. Then came your shop council. Then came your board level participation. I mean to say backward. सबसे लेटेस्ट वाला ये है. तो सबसे पहले जो हमारा आया था वो वर्क कमिटी थी. वर्क कमिटी एग्जिस्टेंस में आई थी. वर्क कमिटी के बाद में जॉइंट मैनेजमेंट काउंसिल बने. जॉइंट मैनेजमेंट काउंसिल के बाद में, सो दे ऑल आर वर्कर्स पार्टिसिपेशन. उसके बाद में दे केम द ब्रॉड लेवल, देन शॉप काउंसिल. ठीक है, दैट इज योर लेटेस्ट वन, इज योर इंस्टीट्यूट. 1947, yes, correct. This is 1947, 1947, 1958, Joint Management Council. Others years, please do remember in this sequence. Years are very, very important. Next question. Now this is coping and defense mechanism. Aggression. So this is frustration, related to the frustration. Okay. Aggression, flight, exploration, aggression, regression. When we are undergoing any kind of the stress, okay, this question is related to stress management. So when you are undergoing any kind of stress, what is the mechanism? Aggression, what does it mean? Flight, what does it mean? Exploration, what does it mean? Regression, what does it mean? Chalo, quickly try to answer the question. Can anyone tell me whose model is this? There is a lady author for this. Who can tell me a lady author who have given this? Anyone? So, yes, Priyanka has answered 2. Yes, the answer is option number 2. Aggression. Aggression is what? When you are asked to change. Actually, this is a change, stress and so on. Change management. Right? So, now aggression is you get irritated, you feel restlessness and you violent behavior, restrictive behavior. Such जो है, ठीक है, death से related. Our author is dead. कोई बता सकता है ऑथर ने डेथ when the person is been not well for so long period of the time and it is the time of the death, the person react in this way. Anyone who can name the author? So now this is aggression. First you aggression, आपको जैसे ही सच पता चलता है, you are irritated, you start feeling restlessness, violent and destructive behavior. Then you flight. Flight is denying, you start denying. Similarly, you can understand in the change way. जब change introduce किया जाता है, when the change is introduced in the organization, people get irritated, people feel restlessness, that they start showing the negativity, destructive. No, we don't want this. Then next one is flight. Flight is denying any feeling of frustration. They start denying. We are not frustrated. We are not showing any kind of aggression. Then वो flight mode में चले जाते हैं. कोई reply नहीं. Then exploration, giving reasons and reasons. Now they start giving the reasons why they are frustrated, why they are giving such behavior. And finally regression, showing the primitive behavior. Now this is the stage where they start, you can say reacting or start accepting the change. So that is your showing primitive behavior. Answer is option number 2. Okay. So this is what I'm ending here. We have the class plus class, so we would be meeting there. Thank you so much, and we would be continuing this question in the next session. It was nice to have you all here. Do remember the plus classes have been already started for all the 10 units, unit number 1 to unit number 10. You have to just use the code Lakshmi K Live to get 10% off on your subscription, and this is complete. This is the offer which is available if you take for 1 year, and you would be, yes, ठीक है. Thank you so much. Give your feedback after the session and like, subscribe.